So these are interesting days. So basically where I am right now is, yeah, music. I like videos. Boom. It's go take some time to listen to those and pull up the lyrics and look at them, or not, to see a point of view. But wow. Okay, so I understand now how work is needed to get the initial motion going. I understand that one device is going to power three devices, and those three devices are going to power, let's say, a fifth device. It's the 131. The reason that on a dartboard it should be rotated so that 13 is where the 20 is. A circled 13 is a 5, you know? It goes 13x, 13. You need 5 cellular energy devices. Buddy Christ. Dogma. Come on. 5. People are retarded saying high 5. Because they don't know anything about a 9. But anyway. What we're going to do then. So think about the wheels, let's say on the faces. Alright. Maybe we should power it, but the four horsemen of the apocalypse, let's say. You know, like Tour de France style. Maybe there should be 4. Like, I saw a video on the internet about a guy who took or a company probably, that took a stationary bike and had a guy ride it, and he made toast. Powered a toaster to make white bread beige or tan. Put on the internet. All that money and all that shit to do that. Alright, so the reason there needs to be a team with the captain is because you have to sustain a certain RPM, rotational speed, for an extended amount of time, and if you want people to sub in and sub out, I'm betting that 3 of them can sustain it for a short amount of time while one person, or let's say, get off and another person get on. Maybe they have to pee. I don't know if, do they pee? I don't know. So, remember, we have 36 poles on every solenoid, and if you have 3-phase energy ABC, that gives you 12 circuits per wheel. Doesn't matter how big the wheel is, okay? And when you have solenoids, okay, in line, like a bunch of paper plates, like this, like 3 of them, let's say we're doing the faces right now, okay? That gives you 12 circuits. Yeah, well, times 3. So it gives you 36 circuits to play with. And who's to say where they go? You are making, let's say, a pentagram because you're making a star. Okay, a 5-pointed star. It's 1 of 7 of 13 because it's a 1, 2, 3. 1 of 7 of 13. Maybe that one's 110 of 2143. I'm going to assume so. So, who's to say that, like, to power the first, like, the first device is where you're generating motion from your work. Therefore, you are charging the solenoids. Again, if you have one drill and you take a brushless motor with the solenoid, rewire the solenoid to another brushless motor, take the battery, chuck it, pull this trigger, they both spin. Who's to say you can't put 580 off of the same drill? Who knows, okay? 580, because 116 interactions between 2 cellular energy devices was 116 wheels. Okay, so if you have 5 of those interactions happening, you have 580 interactions happening, which is kind of funny because if you understand that a 1 is a 0 from a different point of view, then that 0 with a slash through it is now a 0 with a dot in it, and if you put a dot in the middle of 0, let's say it makes an 8, because it's touching the ends. And so 588, and there's 3 of them, 38, 58, you know, boom, okay? So, let's say you start with the vertices, okay? You have a wheel, let's use this one. You have a wheel, okay, and you arbitrarily pick a point, okay? Now that solenoid will be A1, let's say. And, you know, B, C, we'll go to L. That's why I'm talking about 13 and A, L, M. didn't want to go there. It's like a clock. Okay, so who's to say you can't take circuit A1 and go to circuit A1 of another device, circuit B1 to, you know, the same device or a different device? Like, you can make a mesh of the circuit diagram. And again, there's 116 lines and useful lines of the first page of the KJV that talks about the end of day 7, start of creation being done. Okay, even like the Golden Path song by I think Chemical Brothers are coming to Ottawa. I think they're coming to Barrymore's. I might have to go to there. But the new song they just came out with, yeah, like today, it's called We've Got to Try. It's 1 day old. It was released yesterday. The whole movie talks about what I've been talking about for the last few days. Okay? They have a dog. A hobo street vagabond dog. In backwards land, let's just call him God. And they train this god, or dog. They put him in front of TVs and shit and learn about racing. Then they give him arms, like robotic arms, because they're merging man and machine, I guess, or beast and machine or something. And they apparently can drive F1 cars, no problem. Okay? And then they do something else with them. Let's send them to space. Okay? And they got a whole room of scientists behind windows, all saying, we've got to try. We gotta, like, geez, we gotta try to make this. You gotta make something happen. The space programming Tribe Called Quest. Anyway, go off track. The dog. Okay. At the end, okay, when he is in space and he's accomplished his space mission, they're gonna terminate the subject, but he knows how to do the master override switch because he's evolved. He's learned something in his simulated driving and space adventuring training. Okay, he saw a pattern, let's say. And manual override, done. Okay? And then they cut to the end, and he's like an old dog peering down upon 5 other dogs, where one dog is smaller and younger than the other 4 dogs. It's a symbol. It's a symbol, guy. Because no matter how you look at it, those 5 galaxies, or 5 nodes of the pentagram, are in a node. The old dog, and then the 4, and then the one small one, because the small one's small because that's the last one. That's the one probably only powered by nodes that are not directly involved with doing any work. It's the Titans. It's Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. So that would be Cellular Energy Device 2, 3, and 4. Circuits from those solenoids, which are not being powered from the first one, would go. And who's to say that you can wrap, let's say, circuit 1A, but then cover circuit 2ABC with the same, just wrap more solenoids? Like, it's infinite, God. There's a lot of possibilities on actually how to do this. It might come down to the letter of the word in the first page of that book. Again, in. So, yes, I do not, like, like, throw money at me. I can't make this. I can't build this. I can't conceptualize even, like, a feasibility from start to finish. But designing parts right now and literally assembling them for the base machines, like basically the chassis and the mounts for the solenoids and the mounts for the wheels, they don't have to be all put in place and like glued yet, but they could be built. Like, I think I got the scale down and all that. And then because somebody hooked up a stationary bike to a toaster to make toast, to advertise, I don't know, something about toasters or something, or the bigness of the guy's calves or legs, top of the calf, thigh, lower than the thigh but above the calf, quad. There we go, that's why they did it. They wanted to showcase what a quad could accomplish. 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. 4 riders in your Tour de France team. 4 sections of the Reckoner guy. No, I think about it. If you had a like, instead of a man-powered device to power galaxies. Maybe you're gonna make galaxies of benders from Futurama. We don't want that. I want it to be free, like literally. No, it's not free, but I mean, you're using. I mean, like, what are we? I've always joked about harvesting tears because it's better to season meat with. Uh, Imagine you have to harvest tears and sweat, and well, blood's probably not that hard to harvest, and mother's milk, and there's lots of number 5 guy, like I'm sure, but water and those 5 things to create life in a fishbowl, which is an icosahedron inside a dodecahedron being penetrated by 14 axles, 5 to 6 faces and the 8 vertices. 68 Yermar Yager. And when the wheels are turning fast enough, the pack managed to create eddy currents, which are whirlpools that push the water away from the axle when it reaches a certain RPM. Once that happens, they'll stop leaking. Once they stop leaking, the water in there, something interesting will happen. And there's return feeds. Like a pop bottle has 5 testicles. Like any 2-liter pop bottle, you sit down, it's 5 testicles. You just need to pipette them back to the top, I guess, to keep it a closed system. But they will still leak from the axles where they're pieced the thing. But you know, precision machinery can probably get it as good as you can, like a slow drip. And maybe if it's a slow enough drip, over time when it actually speeds up, you know? It's kind of like the Fifth Element, you know, the end of the Fifth Element when they open up the stones and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's like her. Oh, 5, you know, love, oh, Bruce Willis. God, I have that album. No, I don't think I have. I don't know. Horrible album. Robert Kraft produced it. What the hell? So, yeah, like literally, it's basically you're using charge from the solenoids to charge other solenoids to turn other wheels on other devices, and a sacred wiring diagram between them all, and with one return circuit going from Unit 5 to Unit 1. And that's the end of the video, okay? When he hits the kill switch, the dog hits the kill switch on We've Got to Try by the Chemical Brothers, it cuts into this crazy, like, light show and he's driving his car. It's because that's when the return energy goes back to the beginning. And then he goes and he's like the wise dog and there's 5 dogs. It's literally, that video created yesterday depicts what I just said like a day ago. Of course it did. Then you can get off the bikes. When your return circuit is electrified and you're whatever you had to do to create 5 galaxies in your plan of ET, and it's gonna be so demonic. Like, you know, like I watched like the Walt Disney thing with Donald Duck and the Sacred Geometry, and he's like in a pentagram as the icon, and he's like squished. Fuck, guy. I'm just an observer. But dude, the music in the last like couple days has been like boom, worth a watch. And like I've always known there had to be work done. Don't get me wrong on this. Though the right way to put a fucking engine right on 14 sides, and I don't want to do that. I'd rather have a Ruby Goldberg machine with like, you know, gears of war. Gears, man. You need gears going to that stationary bike with the 4 riders. I don't know how fast it has to go. Now, the feasibility of my project just became something even better because, again, where are you going to... Like, you have to create life. And the first thing created, other than plant life, is fish. Okay? Your little... There's lots of them. And they gotta go in the oceans, and they gotta, like, evolve in time to then crawl onto the land like you believe in your story of creation and evolution. That actually kind of has to happen. One day in the room is 1,000 years in the bubble. They gotta go for a while. And there was another one. There's a quintuplet family from North Bay back in the day, like the 30s or something. And they actually had them in a point of their life living in a glass house. For everyone to see, man, that's a fuck. That's like around the highway too, guy. Around the highway is a glass house with quintuplets, man. You know, use your discernment, okay? I gotta get ready to go to work. I guess the shower's out of the question. But yeah.